He moved to the US back in late 1990s. He pursued his master's from Arizona State Universities and started working at Intel, which was his dream job. Later, out of his entrepreneurial passion, he got into real estate. Since then, he established an empire with as a brokerage, as a agency, as a title company, you name it. He is into everything in real estate industry. His agency is one of the top ones in Arizona. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Kiran Vedantam. Hello, Kiran. How are you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for coming onto the show.
It's my pleasure that you chose to invite me to the show. It's
No,
an honor, actually. Thank you.
You're one of the famous figures in the Desi community here in Phoenix. Why don't I?
Yeah, you boosted my ego, so I'll be happy for the next 30 minutes.
No, no.
But in all sincerity, first of all, I want to congratulate you on being bold and starting a show which talks about very interesting topic for most of us, even though we are talking about it in multiple networking events and all that. You formally organizing the show really shows that you're serious about it, and I congratulate for you for taking this first step in educating people and just bringing more knowledge to the community.
Sure. Thank you so much. I'm really interested for some reason. It started from nowhere, but I want to learn and also share. There's a lot in real estate, so I really want to educate everyone.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there is so much of knowledge. That's the thing, because everybody is busy in their professions, and it's very hard to pull the trigger and become a full-time investor. But still, everybody is interested, and it's good that you're bringing a platform so that everybody can learn something out of it. Yeah.
Yep. Thank you, Kiran. So let's start with how you got into real estate. I know it's been a while. So could you please tell us, your background is engineering, and you have completely pivoted everything into real estate. So could you please tell us how you started?
Me and my wife, we both worked at Intel, like you might know. We worked there for 7 years, and it was great. The pay was great. Uh, Everything was great about it. The benefits, the pay, the work-life balance, everything was awesome. But then I remember I was always interested in overall like personality development, real estate related seminars. So we invested almost, I would say, maybe I'm telling 97, 98 time frame. I invested maybe $25,000 in going and attending all the seminars that are being offered under the sky, be it Tony Robbins, Robert Kiyosaki. I mean, you name it, I have CDs and books of them. So we were always pumped up about real estate. So we thought, you know what the hell, we should give it a try. And I remember there is this concept of no man's land concept when you are not really happy about life, but you're not unhappy enough either to do anything about it. So I was almost at that point at Intel. So that's when we have decided that we are going to invest in real estate and see how it's going to be. And thankfully, I love working at Intel, and they gave me the break by giving us a 3-month sabbatical. Every 7 years at Intel, they have a sabbatical program. So we took a break. We started investing in real estate, and thankfully, everything that we touched turned to gold because even the market was cooperating. So
What time was it? When was it? When did you move to?
Started investing in 98.
98?
That's when we started. We used to buy big tracts of land. We started in Buckeye, then we went to Eloy, then Casa Grande. We just bought big parcels of land, just like how they do it in Hyderabad. You buy a big parcel of land, you splice it into smaller parcels, and then just you put it on the market. And then you can do it in Arizona without doing the entire public report if you split the parcel into 4. So that's where we started, and we made a lot of good money in that. Then we put it into other investments, and that disappeared. That's a different story and a different episode altogether.
Right.
But that's how we got started. We started investing in land, then in homes. And then we started advising our friends about how to invest. And since everything that we invested really worked well, so we thought we are the geniuses of this. And then we started telling people how to do it, and people started to respect and appreciate the advice we got. Um, but most of the advice that we gave in the beginning was just out of what we are noticing, and that was not fundamentally correct, is what we realized after so many years. But still, in real estate, you hold something and then you wait and then it appreciates. That's what we've been seeing. Um, so yeah, coming from the engineering background, going into this is we started investing slowly, and we leveraged all the financing to the fullest. And thankfully, everything worked out, and we got encouraged, enthusiastic, because all our friends were asking for the advice. Then we started our own brokerage, and then here we are. And then we never looked back, thankfully, because it's been what I quit Intel in 2007, so it's been 13 years since I quit, and it's been 15 years since my wife quit Intel. So yeah, here we are.
That's
That's a long answer to your short
no, no.
question.
That's what we want to start. So when we are saying about Eloy and Casa Grande, that's what I was looking into very beginning. Let's talk about you. So what do you like the most in real estate?
Uh, I mean, for me, I wear two different hats. One as an investor hat, wherein I'm investing. Then the other hat is wherein I'm advising people uh, in the capacity wherein I'm a licensed real estate broker. So as part of that hat, I have 16 agents in my office, and we are all helping different families in different stages of their life, trying to either buy a home for themselves or buy it in investment property or by medical office complexes or commercial buildings. So I have two different angles on how I see real estate. So
Nice.
first, as an investor, uh, we we started investing in land. Then we realized that the cash flow is not as significant. So then we got into residential real estate. And then we have come to realize that the commercial real estate, the cash flow is better. There is a lot of triple net leases, wherein we don't have to really be bothered by the day-to-day activities of management of a property. So we got into that. Then we got into medical office complexes and office buildings and retail. Uh, so what I like about real estate is just a combination of different stuff that you do. Uh, People might think that including me, I used to think investing in real estate is just buying homes. But the reality is it's not. If you don't like investing in homes, you can invest in
Commercial.
land, or you can invest in office complexes, or you can invest in retail. There's so many different ways to do it. And that's what I like about real estate, that lifetime is not enough for you to get tired and bored of it. And the returns are significant. So that also helps.
Nice, nice. So you said broker, right? So could you please tell us difference between broker, realtor, and real estate agent?
So yeah, I mean, it's very subtle differences for a consumer, but the reality is, as a designated broker, I basically have the authority uh, to
Brokerage.
supervise the activities of other real estate agents. Like in our office right now, we have 16 agents, and then I have basically whatever my real estate agents do. Uh, I am ultimately responsible for it, and I have to supervise their work, and I have to sign off on their contracts, whatever contracts they do. So me as a designated broker, I have more supposedly I need to have more knowledge than any other normal realtor, right?
Yep.
But with that said, I have to be humble enough to acknowledge that there are so many other brilliant real estate agents in the marketplace who know a lot better than what I do. uh, but being a broker, we are expected to stand for more standards of not only ethics, but also we are expected to have more knowledge and sophistication on how we execute contracts. So that's a so it's a big difference when if you are inside an insider. But for a consumer, it's a subtle difference. You're a real estate broker, or you're a real estate agent, or you're a realtor. For them, it's the same. So uh, I would, unless you want to get into the industry, I wouldn't get into the
All
subtleties of
things.
what it is. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So how do you get the deals? When I say deals, like, a family or a person approach you to look for properties, right? So what are your main sources? Is it the MLS listings only, or are you different from any other realtor?
Yeah, we have different ways on how we get our listings. So MLS is one of the sources, but a lot of times people don't want to list it on the MLS, and also we do some campaigns wherein we proactively try to identify the sellers who want to sell, and they sell for multiple reasons. Maybe they are separating, or maybe there is a death in the family, or it's an estate that somebody inherited.
Okay.
Maybe they live in New York or other parts who are out of state buyers. So we even prospect from them. So it's a combination of all of those. So for we have two streams, right? One stream of consumers are wherein they are looking to purchase to live in, right? Primary home buyers. For them, multiple listing services is a very reliable source, because they'll have the opportunity to look at the house and then pick the features and purchase. But for investors, we have the other sources that I just mentioned, wherein we do different campaigns based on the requirement that we get.
All right.
Personally, I also go to auctions, and then we buy a lot of properties at the auctions. Um, it's up and down for auctions. Like right now, there is not too many homes coming to the auction house because there is a lot of equity. People are trying to sell it at a retail price, and also now we have
Forbearance and all.
Zillow and OfferPad and all these other companies are also uh, selling properties and buying properties from sellers. But there was a time wherein I used to go to the auction house almost every day of the week, and then we bought it. We bought homes at auction. So that used to be a great source. Still is. Sometimes we see some commercial properties come through auctions.
Great. So how does the auction work? Do you have to purchase? Do you have to put the whole money in? You have to buy it with cash, or how does it work?
Yes. So with auctions, the auctioneer expects you to pay 100% of the money with cash within 24 hours. So you can bid in an auction. Like, let me tell you like how the Maricopa County auctions work, right?
Right.
So you have you need to just pay $10,000, and then anybody can go and participate in the auction. And the auction is a fun thing. Actually, if you go to my YouTube channel, I do have a few videos of auctions wherein I took it, wherein you can see what the property is and then how much
You
they are
recorded
being bid.
the live auction.
Yeah, live auction. I have some things. You go to you just search for you go to YouTube and
I'm
search
going to
for
put
my.
the link in this video.
Yeah, you can put the link, direct link. I can send you the link. So
Sure.
in the auction, the way it works is you'll not have an opportunity to see inside the house. You just have the property address, and you'll be lucky if you see some old pictures in Zillow or Redfin or somewhere, or the old MLS.
All right.
Um, you just have to be very slick on how you do your due diligence. You have to know how to read the title report to make sure all the liens are covered, because sometimes the second lien holders are also uh, doing the auction. You don't want to be a second lien holder and buy the paper, then you'll be completely screwed. Sometimes, I mean, I've seen people who lost their shirt with auctions. They are thinking that they're buying a house for 100,000, while they're only buying the second lien holder, while there is a first lien for maybe 400,000. So that paper is like worthless. And you see all kinds of crazy stuff happening in auctions. But the main thing with auction is you need to have cash to buy. You'll get excellent outstanding discounts in the auctions. um, but you need to know how to read the title report, and you need to be extremely careful to see if there is a tax lien on it, and if there is any other mechanics lien on it. So all the liens you need to be able to study, and then only then you pull the trigger to buy.
Sure. What price usually they start? Is it the market price or way below the average price of the house?
It's all over the place. I mean,
The
if they
property.
start too high, then they wouldn't get any bidders, right? So they usually start low, but then they have Sometimes they have a reserve price. If it's a private auction, they have a reserve price, meaning that they might start, let's say, at 80,000, right? But then the reserve price could be 120,000. So let's say they start at 80 and then they say increments of 500 or 1,000 and it only goes up to 100. Then if the reserve price is 120, they might pull back and say, you know what, we are not going to sell the asset. So that's a lot of private auctions. Public auctions, we've seen that they might not even have a reserve price at times. And so they always start low. And if it is low enough, there is a lot of players in the auction. If you go to the Maricopa County, it happens at the courthouse steps in the downtown area. It's a fun event to watch. Um,
I read about it and people talk about it. I've never been there, but hopefully.
Oh, it's fun to watch. I've even taken some of my investors there. They get all excited. See, this is the crazy thing about real estate. I have to tell you.
Yes.
There is knowledge. Everybody knows how to do stuff, right? Everybody knows. It's not at all complicated to know how to do stuff.
Yes.
The trick is to really pull the trigger and do it, which nobody does. See, even if I open my entire book of tricks of real estate and just say I hand it, which I did to a lot of the agents whom we mentored, still they don't execute. So having knowledge is worth nothing.
No.
Because knowledge is indispensable. They used to say knowledge is power, but the power is in
You need to implement it, take action
because
on it. Right? Like,
knowledge, you see, if you just Google how to participate in real estate auctions, you'll have so much information.
Yes.
But are you ready to really pull the trigger and buy it? Analysis paralysis is what gets people. And they analyze so much that they'll never end up buying. And then they regret that I wish. And the best time to buy a home is always 5 years ago. Always, always.
So on the same point, right? So you said, how do you analyze the deal? Or when I say analyze the deal is a buyer is there and they say, these are the things. So first, one thing is analyze the deal. And secondly, so there's a property of 400,000. So do you guys put an offer on 400,000 or how do you work usually?
I used to have complicated Excel spreadsheets with macros.
All right.
I used to have it, and then I used to diligently work those macros to figure out if it makes sense. And then I have come to realize that using those macros, really, I lost big opportunities. So the way I do it right now is it doesn't matter what the seller asks. It really doesn't. They could ask 500, they could ask 800. It really doesn't matter. What matters is how I see the highest and best use of the property. And then I work backwards to see, okay, how much is the current rent potential for it and how much is the cash flow.
Cash flow. Yes, cash flow is.
And then cash flow is everything. Like even when we are analyzing apartment complexes, so there we look at the cap rate and then we just look at the cash flow. It doesn't matter what it is. Like what is the cost to carry the property, in the sense that you have your financing and then you have your regular maintenance and then you have the vacancy. So we just have to see how much vacancy are we seeing, because if you are unable to fill the property and get the cash flow, you're only relying on the appreciation, then all the calculation is totally different. So the way I analyze the deal is I just look at who could use the property. If it's an apartment complex, is it in an area wherein we can easily lease for what we want to get cash out of it. Right now, believe it or not, Chandler and Gilbert, right? There is a huge demand in properties with pool, which are over 3,500 square feet. And then if you talk to any investor, they're always going at 1,500 to 1,800, 3-bedroom, 2-bath homes without pool, right? That's what all the real estate gurus have been telling, that small homes, 3 bedrooms are the best. But then big ones, 3,800, 3,900 square feet with pool, are getting over 3,200 per month.
Are they good for rentals, you're saying? They're good for rentals too?
They're outstanding for rental. You list a property with pool in Chandler today and it's going to get you premium rent. So To answer your question, how do we analyze the deal? I think the biggest thing is to look at what's the highest and best value for what you could get at that point versus how the horizon is. Like, how is the development in the area is, and how do you see the property gaining value in the future? Because either you could get appreciation, or you could get cash flow, or you could get a combination of it and have a good balance. People try to get appreciation and also good cash flow. It's very difficult, and that's where people lose out. Prime example, Queen Creek, Santan area, right? Santan area, and even Laveen. uh, Investors turned that area into gold because they never were banking on the appreciation. They were just banking on the cash flow. So they bought properties for 80,000, 90,000, 100,000 all day. People were able to buy in 2012, 13. So we were working with investors who bought like 20 properties there. They easily could finance it. They bought 20 properties. They're like, we don't care about appreciation, right? So they bought properties. There you can get excellent rent. Then over a period of time, now all those properties are worth at least 2 times. So the appreciation is a bonus for them. They were not expecting that it's going to appreciate. While if you bought the same, I remember this, he was a priest at one of the temples, and then he just called me and he said, this was back in the day around 2009. He said, I have $40,000. I want to invest in real estate. He said, I want to invest in real estate. And he didn't use an email. And so it was very difficult for me to communicate in those days. We didn't have WhatsApp. So I could not send him properties for his approval, right? Then he did not have any financial savviness to ask me or critique me if I send a home. He's like, Kiran bhai, you only tell me, right?
You do it.
So then I'm like, man, for 40,000, where can I put? Then I was almost getting frustrated. I said, the only place you can put 40,000 and buy is in Maricopa. That's
Right.
what I told him. Maricopa. I don't like Maricopa, but I said, put it in Maricopa. Uh, because he couldn't even get financing because he was getting a lot of tips and cash tips. So he could not finance it. So for $40,000, we bought a home at Maricopa. And after almost 10 years, we sold the same property for 220,000.
That's amazing.
While we have super savvy analytical gurus investing in Chandler and Gilbert, they didn't get that much of return on the investment. They did not.
Yeah. It's the growth of the area and everything, I guess. It's time, basically, isn't
It's
it?
timing, the growth of the area, and then you have to see how soon you need to take the money out also, right?
Exit strategy,
So
basically.
if you park your 40,000 and forget about it, that's a different strategy versus, hey, you need to sell the asset when your kids are going to college. It's a different strategy. Uh, it really doesn't matter what the seller has. What matters is all these other metrics and the analysis that you need to do. And then end of the day, you need to be ready. You cannot kick tires, because I can tell you, a lot of the real estate agents hate to work with people who are kicking tires, because real estate agents, I mean, our calls, we get about, I get about 300 texts every day that they want to invest. And uh, we have a team, and then we are trying to see who is serious, who is curious, who is serious, who is curious. Most of the people are curious. If you are curious, you'll get serious at some point of time. But if you're trying to work with a real estate agent, or if you're trying to build a team wherein who can help you build your real estate portfolio, you really need to stop kicking tires, and then you really need to get serious, and only then that any real estate agent will be happy to work with you. Uh, Otherwise, it's a very competitive market, regardless of how the market is. It's a very competitive market. For every asset, there is at least more than one buyer. So you have to be competitive. You have to make a competitive offer. You cannot make ridiculous offers. If you make it, then your real estate agent will lose steam, and then you'll end up not buying anything.
Being a real estate agent, kicking tires, you're saying, right? It's not an easy job. It seems so easy. Yeah, what is there and all that. Like maybe it is easy for some people. I have a critique question, not a question or a comment, whatever you say. I was talking to a friend. He says, so you get like 6% something when you sell it, right? As a buyer, he doesn't want to give the 3%. And he says it's not worth to give it to them or something. What's your comment on that?
There are IT professionals who get paid what? Maybe 35, 40,000, all the way to people who get paid 300,000, right? It's a
There's a
big range.
yep, range.
It's a big range. And then people get what they pay for. Uh, you could buy any service for cheap. Even if you go to a dentist, there might be a dentist who might not even worry about your insurance. You can pay cash and get your stuff done and clean the teeth and not even know if they did a good job or not. Even in real estate, the same thing. See, you can sell any house without a real estate agent. uh, you can sell a house with real estate agent and make a little bit more. So you have to see what your net is and how much time you have in your hand. If you have nothing going on in your life, and if you think that you can do it, then by all means you can sell it. But then you better be sure that your net after all expenses, let's say you're selling the house for 500,000, right? If you're calculating 6%, so you'll be losing what, about 30,000. So you better make sure when you're selling, you get more than 30,000. If you are able to get it for more than 30,000, by all means you have to sell it by yourself. There is a lot of intricacies on how you sell, how you present, how you negotiate.
A person who buys or sells, is there a state law, Arizona law, they have to stick with to that realtor only, or they can do anything, or do they have to sign something?
See, as consumers, there is no restriction. You can work with anything, but uh,
Ethical part is different, I guess.
no, it's not ethical. Sometimes it makes sense.
Yes,
Sometimes it doesn't make sense, right? Do you go to like three dentists, or you go to one dentist,
one dentist, right?
right?
Yeah.
Because if you work with one, I mean, if you don't like the dentist, then jump to another dentist. Makes sense.
No, but there is no law or anything like that.
No, there is no law. I mean, as a consumer, you have the right to do whatever you want, and we appreciate it. In our office, we have a rule that we don't want to sign anything. A lot of people have buyer broker exclusive employment agreements, which basically restricts buyers to say that, hey, you have to buy home with us for the next 90 days or 120 days. So a lot of people sign it, and then they realize, oh, bummer, I shouldn't have signed it. We in our office, we don't have it because we don't like to work with people who don't want to work with us. It has to be a win-win, because I hate to really work with anybody who doesn't work with us, or who is not loyal, or who doesn't have the guts to communicate what they like, what they don't like, right?
Yeah.
Consumer has to be very transparent and open. Only then they can get the best possible service.
And I came to know you're a mortgage officer too now, right? Or how long have you been doing it, if may I ask?
We've originated loans since 2005. But see, we always had real estate brokerage as our front. But I'd like to gain. I do a deep down study on any any field that I go in. For the good or the worse, I take a lot of time trying to understand everything, right? So we started with real estate, then we got into mortgages, then we originated loans, and then we had our mortgage originator license. We originated loans for a few of our friends and family and all that, but we really did not service clients, and we always referred it out. Then after that, we got into the title side of business. We own a title agency, so I have that business also. So with mortgage loan origination, the reason I got into loan origination, and then the reason we are now doing it in a big way, is I was just getting tired of consumers getting screwed over fees. Consumers are unable to figure out how to shop for mortgages. I'm not talking about consumers who are not savvy. These are like savvy professional people. They are unable to comprehend how the loan officers are playing their cards, how you could easily get screwed, and the transparency was lacking, including for myself. I've done so many I bought so many homes, and whenever it comes to shopping mortgages, uh, including me, I've always made wrong decisions. And because of the crux of time that you are in during closing time, it's very difficult for you to focus on getting the right financing done and not getting screwed over and not being able to transparently comprehend what the terms of the loan are.
Okay.
So that was the main reason why we got into mortgage in the first place. And then if you have done business with us, you'll know that whenever you approach us for a mortgage quote, we always give you a detailed quote, and then we send you a video explaining what the quote is, and then you'll have an opportunity to play with it, and then you can share the link with your spouse or your friends to understand it, and only then we proceed with the application. So we intentionally did that because we want to make sure people understand what they're getting into. Okay, if you are getting screwed over something, you better understand what you're getting screwed over, right? Some people like to pay a lot of higher interest rate because they only want to live flip the property within 6 months, and they don't mind paying the extra fee because it makes sense for them, versus somebody who who want to pay it off in the next 15 years. So we need to give them all the options, which most of the loan officers don't, because first, they don't understand themselves. The loan officers themselves don't understand the intricacies of what are the different parameters or the metadata they could adjust to meet the right goal for the consumer. That we are proud to provide because of the insight that we gained doing so many deals. Loan officers, probably most of the loan officers, they're probably closing maybe 5 loans a month, even if they're high volume. We do about 4 times that. So just with the sheer volume, we are able to comprehend the different flavors on how you can present it properly, and then get the consumer buy-in also. So yeah, mortgage loan origination is a big topic by itself. And then we are very happy and proud to offer this wholesome experience of real estate buying, and also uh, making sure that financing is also in top shape.
Great, great. So, with the COVID situation and everything, right? So, what do you think about? I know the real estate market did not affect a lot, or it's almost stable, right? What do you think for next 4 to 6 months?
It's very hard to say with COVID, because they call it the black swan event, right? Black swan event is something wherein, like, nobody could plan, nobody could understand, nobody could predict, nobody could plan,
That's what's
right?
going to
So
happen.
that's a black swan event. We are in a black swan pandemic, right?
Right.
Nobody knows. If somebody is claiming that they can really tell us what it is going to happen, uh, I'm not going to trust that. What I'm thinking was, the, the the Federal Reserve has been trying to keep the market afloat with outstanding interest rates, right? That is really holding it. We've been so busy servicing customers because interest rates are like below 3% for purchase. We logged one for 2.5 yesterday, 15-year mortgage, no closing costs. I mean, we've never seen that unprecedented time. So the Federal Reserve is trying to keep the market afloat, and they are going to keep doing that for the next foreseeable future, at least a year or two. As long as that is going to happen, people are going to buy, people are going to upgrade, because most of the people who are able to spend, they are able to figure out that this is a short term thing, and they are willing to pay the money. So the short answer to your question is, I see more detrimental effects to commercial real estate, be it retail, office space. We are seeing that a lot of small businesses, medium-sized businesses are downsizing. They are going for the working from home options and all that. So that is going to have an impact. Uh, Real estate as an investment in Arizona is going to be stable. The reason for that is people from California are getting tired of the policies there. They are moving in droves.
Yep.
People from New York, they're moving in droves. I mean, I would say about 60% of our transactions that we've done in the last 2 months have been people from out of state.
Wow.
So out of state
And we
business
all,
is going to be there. So Arizona market is going to be stable. The only people who are missing out on the Arizona market is people who live in Arizona. Everybody else is taking advantage of it.
Yeah. So all those transactions you're saying, right, out of state, are they investment or primary?
They are doing both, because what they are doing is they are selling their home in California. They're buying a primary home, and then they're buying couple of investment properties. So they are doing, like, they're spreading it out. They are buying couple of investment properties and buying a primary home.
That's nice.
We
That's
love we love the California market. We have a huge client base in the San Jose Bay Area.
okay.
They come and they do at least 3 or 4 transactions. They get excited seeing the Arizona market and the potential.
That's great. So, what is your biggest failure?
So the biggest failure is not being able to acknowledge that there is so much to learn every day. Regardless, it doesn't matter how many years you've been in the business. There is so much to learn, and even after doing over 1,000 transactions, I have to really ground myself every day, saying, you know what, today is a new day. I need to still learn a lot, and not acknowledging that is going to be a huge failure. And then when I was new in the business, just like how you oversimplify the concept of, hey, if you, it's easy to do real estate, right? It's very simple. You get easily money easily, right? That was the mindset I was in. And that's where the danger is, wherein you become complacent, and then you just take things for granted. uh, there was a one biggest failure, I would say, is uh, just taking it granted for things that you think that you don't need to do it, like doing an inspection on a property wherein you're going to go for the auction, right? During auction comes, we 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 really lost a lot of money, hard-earned money, because we did not do our due diligence. We just took it for granted, and then you don't learn from your mistakes. So that's the thing, that my biggest mistake is not learning from my mistakes.
That's great. I have one final question on this topic. So, most of my viewers are investors, or at least they want to get into real estate investing. Let's say they have $10,000. Do you have any suggestion where they can start?
uh 10,000 only, right? 10,000. See, if you have $10,000 and if you're thinking about
And they can do
investment,
mortgage and all that too. So with that, so
yeah. I would try to invest that in getting excellent mentor who can help them. uh, there is I got mentored by very good people, like who are big huge names in the industry, and I paid them a lot of money. And some of them I just had an opportunity to talk to them for 3-4 hours. That's all I was able to do. And then we paid $1,000 an hour. I paid it, and whatever the discussion I had, it was useful. It was worth $1,000,000.
invest in
So
yourself, right? So that's the biggest thing.
yeah, I mean, you invest in getting some good mentor. I think that's where I would invest the first $10,000 in.
Now I have few rapid questions, Kiran. So
Oh
I,
my God,
I
this is totally
your
like,
opinion or what
ah!
you think and all that. Nothing crazy. I want answers fast, like in one word, one sentence, but fast. That's what it is.
Oh my God, you
No,
are just putting me
nothing
on the
crazy.
spot. Let's see.
Okay. So best habit you're proud of.
The best habit. Uh, I love to wake up in the mornings. I wake up at 4 every day.
Yeah.
Every day I wake up at 4. I just can't sleep after 4. So it's a different thing. But I wake up at 4 and I love my day from 4 to 7. It's my favorite. And I'm proud that I'm able to wake up early every day.
I need to get trained from you, I guess, on that. I really want to do it, but it's really hard. But yeah, one day maybe.
Yeah,
So,
that's the best thing.
sure. Best app or tool you use?
I use the MLS app every day diligently. I use it. I keep track of my inventory, what's happening in my area, and then I'm addicted to that. Now the next addiction I have is Facebook and WhatsApp. I need to stop that. But MLS is my favorite app. Uh, I love Facebook and WhatsApp. I connect with so many people through that, and those are the three apps that I use a lot.
Great, great. So, best book, blog, podcast.
I'm big into podcasts. I listen to so many. If I have to pick one, the book that I love is Darren Hardy is the author. It's called Compound Effect. Basically, it talks about how small, seemingly insignificant actions define our future. Uh, so I read that book like maybe 30, 40 times, and I tailor all my habits around insignificant things, what I do small, and try to repeat it over a time, and that's going to have a compound effect on our success. So yeah, Compound Effect is my favorite book. I hear a lot of podcasts. Brian Buffini's podcast I hear a lot. Uh, that one I like. And then Jim Rohn's Archives. So Jim Rohn is my favorite mentor. Uh, so those are the three that stand out.
Great, great. So, first thing you do every day in the morning once you wake up?
Uh, I just do a little bit of meditation, and then I do some breathing exercises. I used to actually plan out my day in the morning, but I moved that to the previous night. So I plan out my next day's activities the previous night. So when I wake up, I just do some breathing, some meditation, and then I'm ready. So that's what I do first thing in the morning.
Great. I started doing too pranayama, kapalapati, and all that. Yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Name three most important things to you.
Family is most important, and I always try to maneuver my time around having to spend most with them. And unfortunately, in the service business that we are in, we work a lot, 7 days a week, and odd times, evenings, weekends.
Yeah, it's not under your
So
control.
I struggle with trying to make time for my family. So family is the most important, obviously. Then it's very important that we have very loyal customer base, and my company's name is Kiran and Associates Realty. My wife's name is Kiran, so we have a lot of brand pride. So we love our brand, and we do everything to make sure we cater and deliver what we promise. So our customers who rely on our brand, that's very important for us, and we go really the extra mile to make sure we take care of our customers. Um, and the last thing is uh, the quality of life. We focus on quality of life. We don't focus on quantity.
What is success means to you?
Success means being able to do what you want, when you want, how you want, and with whom you want. And that's success for me. Just like how I told you in my previous answer, I was not enjoying mentoring other agents. We used to have 30 agents, so I was used to mentor them how to become good in real estate and all that. And then they were learning a lot from us, and then we were not seeing the same level of loyalty that was being reciprocated. So I did not enjoy that. So being able to work with people that we love and people that respect us, and then we reciprocate, so that is success for me. I am thankfully we are able to choose whom we are able to work with. Coming back to your original question, can consumers pick multiple realtors to work with? Yes, consumers can do that. We don't like to work with people like that. We have the luxury to work with whom we want, and that is success for me. We want to be able to spend time with people that we like to talk to. Like you contacted me to talk to you, and I like you, and I don't mind spending time with you. Versus we get contacts from other podcasters saying, hey, can you be on the pod? We don't want to talk with them, and that is success for me. Being able to say no is success for me. Being able to do what I like to do is success for me.
Great, great, great answer. What is your off time hobby? What do you do in your off time while not working or anything?
Sure. You'll not believe it. uh, I love to work, and that's my off time hobby too.
There is no other thing.
Even when I'm off time, I'm just listening to podcasts about real estate investing.
Great.
I'm listening to podcasts about businesses. I'm just reading about business, reading about real estate. I love to do that, and it doesn't feel like work for me. I have no other. I'm such a boring guy. I even purchased golf clubs, golf shoes, and everything, and I was
Very good.
so thought I learn golf, and man, I should learn this game. Everybody is having a ball, but I didn't enjoy it. I'm like, screw it. I'm going to just stick to what I enjoy, which is just reading about book, reading and learning about real estate and books, and that's all I enjoy.
That's so nice. Like, you love your work. Like, you don't even feel that it is there, right? So it's all your passion and your
Yes,
love.
indeed, it's a blessing.
That's
I should confess it's a blessing. Even when I used to work at Intel, we didn't quit because we hated Intel. We loved working at Intel. It was a good thing, but then this is even better, wherein we are able to work for ourselves, and this is even better for us.
great. Great. Best quote you could think of right now, or you
Oh,
could
best
relate.
quote. Uh, I don't know. I say what you appreciate appreciates. That's, I mean to say, if you appreciate something, it's going to appreciate. If you start to appreciate your relationships, it's going to appreciate. If you start to appreciate money, it's going to appreciate.
Embrace
So
space.
appreciating and acknowledging and being thankful is what appreciates. And I think that's the quote I could remember.
That's
Man, you should have told these questions ahead. I could have prepared.
that's that's a rapid fire. So, what do you get inspired by every day?
I'm always fired up and inspired. I don't need extra inspiration pills.
It's
I'm
incredible.
always like fired up about some stuff. Like even if there is a small condo that's available, if it's a good price, I get fired up. I get fired up for little things, so I don't need special inspiration.
That's nice.
Uh,
That's
I
nice.
hope it's going to continue like that. And yeah, I get inspired for little stuff. Real estate inspires me a lot, and talking to people and helping them invest also inspires me a lot.
Great, great. I have one more question. We will close with this. Life is, fill it up.
Life is uh, life is short. I would say life is short,
So, tug it.
and
Tug
and
life.
we yeah, and then we need to make the best out of what we have. We cannot keep planning. I learned pretty early in my career that uh, over analyzing stuff, be it investments or be it making decisions. I used to be so indecisive because my fundamental personality is being very, very analytical. And so I just had to change myself to be more decisive, because there is so many decision points in throughout the day that you have to make a decision, move on, make a decision, live with it, and move on, right? So life is short is what I think, is because you have to make the decision and learn to live with the decision, and then learn from the experience and keep moving to the next one, and then be brave, bold enough to make the decision and move on and never look back and then regret about the decision. You just have to learn and march. So that's why I think life is short. You have to be swift. You have to you have to act, like right now, like action. My
Super.
neighbor says action all the time. He's about 70 years old, and then he's a multimillionaire. And he texts me in the morning. He says action in bold. That's what he says. And it's like, man, he's in his 70s and he's so, like, he lives his life just like that. And he knows life is short, but he's always active. So
That is so true. That is so true, Kiran. Like, I learned a lot from what you're saying, and hope my listeners, like, all the viewers, they learn a lot too. Thank you again for your time, Kiran. I really appreciate your time. Have a good
No,
evening.
thank you for having me. If through this episode, if you are able to inspire anybody to become better of themselves, I think you deserve all the credit for you for putting it together. And I want to again congratulate you on setting this platform up. And I wish you a lot of success.
Thank you so much, Kiran.